This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yeah, baby, there he is. Fresh from a happy locker room. I would imagine that was a happy locker room, right? The defense
podium.
kind of happy, but but yeah, they
right. Or a podium for me. I was at the podium, which was also very happy on all accounts. Everyone who was up there. My colleague Chris Perkins was in the locker room, and he has our coverage from what was said in there. But yeah, all around, I mean, very impressive just to see all of it. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but that Mike McDaniel bounced back from that coaching matchup last year. Tua Tagovailoa got it going against the same Chargers defense that Brandon Staley schemed up so effectively against them. And then the defense, hey, a lot of it was ugly. The run game, they were pounded in that area, but they got the stop in the end. So, hey, 1-0.
Yeah, and by the way, it proves again that running game is not important. It's a complimentary thing, but it ain't going to carry you because you rush for 234 yards and you got yourself a loss. You win passing in this league. That's how you win. Did you get a sense, and I tweeted this out, that Mike McDaniel was dead set on proving to people that you can't take out the middle of the field? I mean, bro, you could not have made a bigger statement. He must have heard all that noise in the offseason. He was like, no, I'm going to show you. You're not taking the middle of the field away from me. If I want it, I'm going to take it. And, brother, he found ways and freed everything up. And obviously Tua played better because it was schemed better.
You know, I actually asked him post-game if he took any aspect of this coaching matchup personally after the way last year went. And, of course, he took the humble route. He said it's never about him. It's always about the players, and that he always feels insulted to make anything about him. That's what he says in front of the cameras, right? And then minutes later, I'm with Chris Perkins doing a video on the field, and he's like, I think he had to have taken it personally. But, yeah, I mean, great game plan. Yeah, a statement game plan for sure to prove, hey, you can do it once, but we're going to figure you out after you thought you had us figured out. And then, yeah, he really schemed it up to open up a lot for Tua, Tyreek, and that offense was charting.
You could mention the Baltimore Ravens comeback last year like Safid did. I think this might have been Tua's greatest performance as a Miami Dolphin, and let me tell you why. One, I think the coach was a little loose with his play calling. I don't think he was responsible enough by mixing in the run and help out his offense a little bit more. And once you go pass happy, you can in the middle of the game say, okay, now let's get back to being so run for it a little bit more. It just doesn't happen that way. You had Connor Williams with bad snaps. You had the kicker not getting an extra point. Tyreek Hill with a big drop. A defense that was just absolutely Swiss cheese the entire night. And yet he basically, this was Marino. When I was growing up watching Marino, this was Marino every single week, bro. No running game, no defense, and he had to carry the entire team. Today, Tua Tagovailoa came up with, I think, his best performance ever so far.
Yeah, you could bring up the Baltimore game. That one, although, of course, there were some busted coverages from the Ravens, so that certainly made things a lot easier. Chargers, yeah, maybe some of them, they didn't defend it the way they wanted to, but, I mean, a lot of these were just money decisions, money throws. He bought himself time, created that 35-yard touchdown where Tyreek Hill, he was talking post-game that he had set up J.C. Jackson all game, inside release, and then all of a sudden he's going down the sideline, and Tua hits him perfectly. There were just so many examples of throws like that. 466 yards where, yeah, maybe he was 3 off of that Baltimore mark, which was his career high. But, I mean, this was just more impressive. And there wasn't the comeback aspect of that Baltimore game, which makes it historic and all, and the 6 touchdowns and whatnot. But this one was just every possession was important, and it was a duel and he answered every time. The Chargers had an answer, and that run game was pounding the Dolphins defense. He came right back, and he had an answer for them as well. And then right down to the end, that final touchdown to Tyreek Hill, and then the defense gets a stop, which I was not expecting going into that drive. I thought, okay, here we go. Now Herbert's going to get his shot, but Herbert really didn't do all that much because it was all very run game dependent.
He was very Herbert. He's very Herbert, by the way. Very Herbert.
I hear you.
I'm just saying. I mean, brother, like I've been saying, this has been my theme in this whole show. McDaniel unleashed the Kraken on them. Well, if your guy's so special, why don't you just put the ball in his hands, dude? Why do you have to run the ball so much? Maybe you might want to make a couple scores a little easier. I mean, let's have a draft middle of the field and far out. Two other giant receivers, and you're playing against a quarterback with short receivers, and they're unleashing the short quarterback on your ass, and he's throwing the ball all over the place. And yet, I thought it was the other guy that was God's gift to quarterbacking. So, but the one thing nobody can say, Tua thoroughly outplayed Justin Herbert today, like thoroughly, like it is not even close.
Yeah, and then now 2-1 in his career against them. So
Yeah.
got this one. Obviously, last year's was really an embarrassment to not get that one. But I mean, this one, Herbert, sure, maybe he didn't lose the game for them the way maybe 10 of 28 last year. Oh, but that was rough on Tua and the Dolphins. But boy, it was also always unfair to compare those first 2 years between these guys, because Herbert went into the perfect offensive system and with the weapons around him, and Tua did not have that with those two Brian Flores years and that offense with first Chan Gailey, and then you have the George Godsey and the three different play callers at some point in that 2021 season, my first year on the beat, which was they had to streamline the play calling, and a young quarterback cannot succeed in that type of setting. So now finally he's got the support of a head coach. He's got an elite wide receiver tandem. Yeah, maybe the best, but Herbert has always had that. Joe Burrow has had that in Cincinnati. So yeah, when you talk about this 2020 class, then now Tua sort of has the parts around him that are close or equal, and then now he's showing that he belongs at least close to, if not in that same category or right above. In regards to Justin Herbert, hey, he just got this rubber match against him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, dude, you got outplayed. That's all I know. You got outplayed, and you didn't go out there and became the difference in the game. Kendall Lamb and Austin Jackson. I mean, I got to go back and watch it because I can't say I was watching everyone, but I didn't see any sacks there, David. No sacks.
I was actually about to come up to the box score, make sure I didn't miss one. Yeah, no, I still see a 0 on the sack total for the LA Chargers. So a lot was made about, and I even said it with you. I was on the show with you on Thursday, and I said, well, what's my biggest concern is these two tackles, Austin Jackson on the right side, Kendall Lamb replacing Teron Armstead on the left side, having to go against Bosa and Khalil Mack. And that really did not develop the way the Chargers would have wanted. So they held their own on the edges, and and of course offensive line play. I have to watch more. I was busy just covering the game and getting the feel for it, but to analyze how they did. But it had to have been good if Tua was not pressured all that much, it was not sacked, was not taken down.
I was really impressed overall with the line, man. They did and there were moments where Tua dropped back, and it wasn't like he just got rid of it in a second and a half. No, he held it a couple times where it got to that 3-second mark, and there were a couple times he was flushed out and all that kind of. But that's going to happen, dude. It's a regular football game. Plus, you're playing against two great pass rushers, so they're going to flush you out a couple. Hell, there was one where they just let Bosa just come in untouched, and he had to get rid of it quickly because that was like the play. That was the way it was designed, which. A little scary, but by the way, let's see the bad snaps, the people falling all over Tua, and it happened in the preseason with a bad snap with Connor. Apparently, the beefing up of Tua's body really came into effect already in this game, dude. Because even the one where he fumbled, where it's a bad snap and he's down in the ground and he has to hold on to it. Yeah, bro, people are landing all over you there and all that. Maybe all that stuff he did in the offseason already paid off for itself in the first game.
Against some of the biggest, strongest professional athletes in professional sports, the big linemen up front. So, I didn't even think about it in that regard. I was more so looking for that first time he scrambled and he did slide when he had that instance. Getting the ball out when a hit is coming, which by the way he didn't face that much pressure as we just mentioned. Some of those things too. That is something that is a benefit of this stronger Tua that we're seeing.
Yeah, and by the way, the one he ran to the left that had pressure, he threw it right to the ground.
Yeah, there was that one in front of Ingold.
Yeah, I was proud of him that he threw that one to the ground in the slide. I was like, that's how you live for the next play, kid.
Yeah,
Right
the decision
there.
making. And
Yeah,
like you
dude.
said earlier, going through his progression, there was a couple times where it was just read, and then that third option, or that wasn't there, and then you have to extend the play outside, going left. He had one, and then the third down that he went to Smythe, or no, was it the fourth down, 4th and 7? Now I'm confusing a lot of plays, but so much happened in that game. But there were several instances where you just saw the decision making, and also anticipation. That there was one to Tyreek where there was an over-the-top safety and then 2 defenders in the zone, and he just anticipated the cut that he was going to be at the spot, and he threw it into that perfect had perfect ball placement on it before Tyreek was even there into an empty open spot. So just very impressive performance from Tua.
Injury-wise, everything was Waddle all right? Everything cool? Everything cool?
Yeah, I actually asked Mike McDaniel about Waddle. I made sure to get that question in before we wrapped up, and he said he's fine, nothing to be too concerned about, but he was just dealing with some pain. He didn't get specific, but that they were getting him in and out toward the end of the game, like a certain play. All right, give us this one. We'll get you back out, get you a breather. Yeah, I remember spotting him on that final drive, pacing the sideline without his helmet. So at that point, I was concerned when I spotted that. And actually, shout out to a friend of mine who was watching the game, because I'm so caught up in the storylines and what I'm going to write. And I'm like, I didn't even realize Waddle wasn't out there for a little bit toward the end. I got a text from a friend. How come Waddle's not getting involved? And I said, oh, shit, where is he? Oh, yeah, I can say that here. and then I looked toward the sideline. There he was without his helmet. So, but seems like he'll be fine, and then something to monitor. I'm sure we'll find out on the Wednesday injury report more specifics.
Dude, the Braxton Berrios thing is already paying off. The connection is there. There is chemistry. And the one play that they made when he was rolling out and got him right before the sideline, that was a magical throw by Tua. By the way, that takes arm strength to make that throw. That's not an easy throw. Also, he had to put a little mustard on it because he's got a DB right behind. That's not an easy throw he made. But overall, the 3 for 42, you could see that Braxton Berrios is going to be priceless to this offense.
Yeah, 3 for 42, all of them impactful and big. And I mean, and tough catches too, going to the ground, making sure he gets those arms underneath it. I tweeted, yeah, keep thinking Braxton ain't coming up with these balls. Brandon Staley tried to challenge one of them, and yeah, it came up, but Braxton had the perfect dive and arms under the ball to make sure if that did happen, it was deflecting off his forearms and into his body for the catch. So big third downs that he was picking up there, especially that one on the sideline that you mentioned.
David Feronis from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. I cannot be saying this anymore. Not this part. I cannot be saying this anymore for the rest of the season, my brother. Josh Boyer is better than Vic Fangio.
Ooh, I wouldn't go that far. Oh, come on. Off one game.
Josh Boyer allowed 2 touchdowns to this same team.
Oh, completely different.
Hey, Josh Boyer had no secondary, an injured X, no Agba, an unhealthy Chubb, no David Long, okay? So if we start looking at it, he had a lot less out there on the field compared to what Vic Fangio has. I'm not saying that Josh Boyer is better than Vic Fangio.
Okay.
I can never say that. I can never say that. But this week, right now, the one example that I have, Josh Boyer did better with less against the Chargers than Vic Fangio did in this game. Those are the facts.
Oh, I was about to fake some connection issues here and log off right then when I was hearing some of where you were going. Sample size. It's one game. Let's give this defense some time, and let's especially judge this defense when late in the season when it has Jalen Ramsey back with it as well, which I know Josh Boyer never had him, so we're not going to compare that.
Even have X healthy, bro.
Yeah, well, that's true. But Josh Boyer, all his great defensive performances were when he also had the backing of Brian Flores with him. So when he ran it by himself, then he didn't have the Dolphins defense going.
But in that game, he limited Herbert.
Yeah, just last year. Okay, but these are different
touchdown.
games.
Herbert had one touchdown in that game.
Yeah, but how many things did the Chargers screw up in that game? The fourth down, 4th and 2 on the opening drive when they went down the field. They dominated time of possession on the Dolphins, so they kind of just played some keep away. It was just get it done type of grinded out game. But
they only won by 6. The offense lost that game last year. The defense.
Yeah, it was a 6-point game, but it also took that Tyreek Hill offensive fumble recovery and score, these wacky instances.
Again, that goes to the offense being just a joke the entire game. The offense was the problem in that game. Not the defense had no help from the offense in that game. They did as much as they could with what they had to limit that offense. Dude, I couldn't ask for more from them. What Fangio has, he has way more. All I'm saying is, brother, he failed miserably today. Today, he did not do his job. He did not earn his money. I get it. They made a couple of plays right at the end finally. But, man, dude, they got dominated thoroughly today, man. It's ugly. You can't do that anymore.
And the run defense was something that this defense already had, whether they needed to correct the lack of turnovers that they didn't force last year, the third downs, the pass defense last year, all those things they needed to correct. But the run defense was something that they already had. It was number 4 last year, and then it did not show up in this game. So, yeah, is it a concern? I don't know. Right now, yes.
Not right now. This was a shitty performance. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned yet because it's one game, but it's an unacceptable performance.
And Fangio's got the resume, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. With your resume, Vic Fangio, this was unacceptable. You got to do better than that. That's my point. Jason Sanders, dude, you hit some field goals in this game, and then you put the entire game at risk.
Yes.
At the end, dude. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Boy, I saw that. I thought that was what was going to lose them the game. I was more prepared for my if they lose version of what I was writing than if they win. At that point, I said, boy, all they need is a field goal. And with the way this defense has gone this game, but you got the intentional grounding and then the big sack to seal it. So, hey, the defense did finish it off.
Yeah. I got it done. All right, what do you got working in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friends?
Yeah, man, all the game coverage, the news, and which I'm going to keep writing. I got a bunch to write off this game. So everything that we saw here from McDaniel, statement he made with the way he schemed up this victory, Tua, the performance he had, and Tua and Tyreek together. So all of that good stuff. And then it continues on to New England, Sunday Night Football next week.
Tua, best quarterback in the NFL after week 1, correct?
Oh, I haven't even looked around the league that much because I'm so focused in on this game. But I got to imagine it was hard to beat this performance. Who else had a great game today? I haven't looked around.
I'm bullshitting you, bro. I have no idea. I don't know either. I've been focused on this. I kind of half-assed know what's going around the league. So maybe somebody had a better performance. I'm just having some fun. I got to have some fun with it.
Boy, I know Joe Burrow didn't based on that.
No. Yeah,
that Browns-Bengals score.
No. And I also know that Justin Herbert didn't.
Yeah. I watched him closely today too.
Follow him on Twitter at @DavidFronis _ David. Safe travels, my friend. Enjoy your travels and enjoy covering the football team. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. There you go. EJD Construction. Make sure you call my guy, Eric, 305-433-4843.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.